Retail and hospitality is changing, with often complex and fragmented systems combined with large volumes of customer data for businesses to make sense of. It's critical to work with the right partners in order to guarantee success. At Tratech Consulting, we help retail and hospitality businesses transform their technology, removing overly bloated processes and creating unified and efficient systems of working throughout. So don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. Tratech Consulting, the leaders in technology transformation across retail and hospitality.
Hello, welcome to the All Things Borough podcast, the official podcast of Farnborough Football Club and sponsored by Tratech Consulting. Tratech takes your business visions and turns them into innovative reality. Good evening, it's Alan as usual. I'm here with Simon. Simon, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. Don't think Matt's too happy with that introduction, though.
Yeah, so
you could sound a little more enthusiastic about it when you do it.
You must be joking, Matt. You must be joking. That's the most enthusiastic I've ever heard him in my life, and that's only because we were sitting up. I tell you what, ladies and gents, we were talking off air, and I said we should get Matt to do it. Matt was like, "No, you go with us." Honestly, he sounds dead every time he says it, and honestly, he took it on board. That's the most enthusiastic I've ever heard him sound.
Well, I had to make it a little bit more enthusiastic because obviously Matt is here with us, and those of us that are watching on YouTube, you can see we have got Matt Rose, the owner of Tratech Consulting, CEO, whatever your title is. Matt, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's been a little while since I was last on here.
Bit too long.
Yeah, well, you probably don't need to listen to me talking every now and you're having better guests on than me on this recently this season. So
that
fit me in.
Can't argue with that, though, Matt. Can't argue with that.
No.
Well, I would say, I'd like to say before we start, best wishes to Carl and his family. He has a bit of bad news today. We normally have Carl on to do a review show, but unfortunately he couldn't make it tonight due to a bit of bad family news. So we're just wishing Carl all the best, and hopefully we'll see him tomorrow night and or at the next home game. So good, best wishes, Carl, to you.
Absolutely. Right, as you said, Simon, this is a review show. This is our second review show. So we're going to be covering a couple of games that we've all, well, hopefully we've all been to see. So we're going to be covering the Hemel game, Aveley game, Enfield game, and the Chelmsford game. Okay, so let's kick off straight away. Hemel away, 21st of September. If we can remember that far back. 3-3, Miller with 1 and Chin with 2. Simon, what did you make of Hemel's ground?
Well, firstly, I would like to say, obviously, we have skipped over Walton, but it was all going very well until Matt left, and then we lost. So, yeah. Anyway, that's enough said about that. And
I've got to edit that out now.
I know we did say off air we weren't going to talk about it, but you can't just take the good results. You've got to listen to the bad ones. But anyway, yes, moving on very swiftly. Yeah, ground odd. What I can say,
it was a bit odd. Yeah,
it's probably the most ramshackle put together ground I've ever been to in my life. It was like bits of stand sort of half built, bits of pieces all erected. Almost like someone's they sort of decided they're going to make a really massive ground and ran out of room and then didn't get planning permission, so they knocked it all down.
And there's also the pitch as well. You stand on the side of the pitch and it's up by your chest.
Yeah, I mean for me that's overhead height. For me it was overhead height. So I'm only 4'2". So yeah, it's it was very odd. And the pitch that Spencer alluded to, but afterwards he said it was like a piece of concrete. Not the best 3G I've seen in my life, I have to say. But anyway, and it's the last time I mentioned it. It was better than Walton's one. That's it. That's the last time I mentioned Walton. But at least it was flat and you could play football on it a bit. But it was rock hard. It was rock hard. But anyway, enough about the ground. A rating of maybe about 5. I think 5 out of 10 for the ground. But the bar was nice. That's about it. And you actually turned up for it, Al, as well. First away game.
I did, yeah. Well, it's only around the corner for me. I can make that away game.
That's the second time, though, isn't it? You've been to that. That's the second time in 2 years.
Yeah, so I went last season. I went last season in the pouring rain. It was horrible.
Wasn't that the Harvey Bradbury debut?
Yeah. Harvey's debut got booked for. I think he elbowed one of the defenders, and then he got hooked up at half time.
Yeah. But
not the best of debuts for him.
Yeah, to avert him getting a red card. I think Spencer said if I didn't put him off, he'd have been off quicker than I could have picked him off. I think he
Yeah.
ran off at half time, didn't he? And just put his tracksuit on and went home. I think that's what happened.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, have you ever been to Hemmel's ground before?
I'm not. No, I mean, I don't. My challenge is getting to the away games, right? Because it's like, generally, it's with the kids and stuff. It makes it quite a heavy afternoon of. Also now I'm coaching the under eights and stuff on a Saturday morning. Any of the longer trips on a Saturday does make it a bit more challenging. But I am trying to do more this year, trying to get to a few more of the away games.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've not been to Hemel. But by your description, it's not necessarily you're not really sold. You've not really sold it to me.
That's not what you told me off there, Matt. You said it was top of your list. You said.
Well, let's be honest. The way we're going this season, maybe we won't have to play them next year. So
no, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they might get relegated. You're right, Matt. They might plummet down the league.
I was thinking more going the other way, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully, yeah. I like that.
It's interesting that you say that, because at that game, Hemel were actually top of the table when we played them.
Yes, that's right.
But now
they've gone on a bit of a losing streak now, haven't they? They've lost the last.
Yeah, they've struggled a little bit. Yeah, they're down to about 6th or something like that at the minute now, I think.
They've drawn a couple and lost a couple. Obviously, we're doing 3-3. We should really talk about the game really rather than beating them up about their ground. But it was a good game. And it was actually Jordan Esprit's last match for them before he decided he took a new job somewhere and left. He's now playing for Walton. I said I wouldn't mention him, but I've done it 3 times.
What you're doing, Simon, is you're making it really difficult for me to edit all this stuff.
Impossible, I think is the word I used. So he's gone to Walton. That's 4 times. He scored as well. I think that was his first goal at home for them. I think second goal for Hemel. And his last game. Since they lost him, they've lost a lot up front. I think the guy I was well impressed with though was that Ricardo Germain, the guy they had up front. He's really good.
He was at Chesham last season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's really good. Right, he's an odd one because he's kind of like he's a bit like the lesser spotted David Braman, in sort of body shape, because he's got a massive arse, but he's really good. And he just
he's not listening.
Back to now. Sorry, Dave. No, other asses are available. But he is. He's got an odd body figure, but he's really good. He holds the ball up really well. Gets loads of free kicks. Backs in. Really, really good. Decent.
Did you notice, Matt? This is like pot calling the kettle black here. Simon talking about people with odd body shapes.
Oh, yeah.
Listen. I look like a football. Okay, that's not an odd shape. That's a circular shape. Yeah. When you've got an arse sticking out here and you've got a thin middle and a great big bum, that's an odd shape for me. You know what I mean? It's Anyway, let's move on from body shaming. Mr.
I mean, it was a great. We should have won that game as well.
Yeah, we should have won. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hands down, we should have won that. And they should have had a man sent off as well.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, that was an absolute disgrace. That was. I mean, it was a really bad tackle. I mean, it could have been a straight red. To be fair. And then obviously Spencer alluded to it after the match that they even forfeit.
Well, because he got booked. He got booked before, didn't he?
Yeah.
For another horrible challenge, and then he did that again. It was on Ricky, wasn't it?
Off, didn't they? Straight away.
And then they hooked him off.
Yeah. It was bad. I think it was. Well, you think he did? Did he do Page? I think it was Page for the first booking.
I can't remember who he did the first one.
Yeah, they both were bad tackles. They were both bad tackles.
Yeah.
That was terrible, really. That was awful.
We bottled it then.
Yeah, we were well on top at that point as well. Well on top. We were battering really. But considering, it was a really good game actually. All in all, really, really good game. Very entertaining. Hemel fans were quite good. We were sat in amongst the Hemel fans because we're a bit like that. Off, yeah. And they were giving us a bit of banter and we were giving it back. It was a good atmosphere, not really friendly, very good. Really good game. Chinny got a couple of worldies as well. Second one particularly, banged it in the top corner. Goalkeeper was only diving for the cameras. I think it was a token dive. He never getting anywhere near it. It was a really good game. Obviously Miller obviously scored as well. So that started his run off, didn't it as well? So really good match. Should have won, but would have taken a draw before the game certainly. And we come away.
Well, we were talking before the game, weren't we, Simon? That because of they were top of the table and they were in a bit of form as well. We said if we got a draw, we'd take it. Yeah. We were offered it, and then by the end of it, we felt that we should have won it.
Yeah, should have won. Yeah, referee weren't great, was it? Yeah, referee weren't great. Yeah, that ended up being Sam Smart's last match? think it's the last time I saw. I know he came on and he should have scored, and he hit it over the bar, sort of a cross shot type thing, didn't he? But he looked quite lively.
Yeah,
He looked quite lively.
he did actually. Yeah, he was just a bit unlucky, really, Sam, because
Yeah.
didn't he get an injury early on in the
Yeah,
season?
a couple of niggly
He's
things.
just
Yeah, he was
not really managed to get back.
Yeah, it's a shame really because I don't know about I'll bring you in a sec, Matt, but Spencer's obviously been after him for a long time, finally get him in, and he fortunately hasn't only lasted a couple of months in and out, which is a shame really. But yeah, there we go. So is what it is.
Matt? You could obviously have been like the main like shirt sponsor and all that. Do you have are you party to any sort of conversations when it comes to players and that?
No, to be honest, and I don't typically like to be either, even if it was on offer, just because fundamentally the club will do things that benefit the club at the right time, So and as you all know, right, and how quick football moves, particularly at this level, it's by the time they're eyeing somebody up or they're gonna push for a loan, that that'll happen really really quickly. So I find out when you find out. So
that's fair enough.
Even when you look at, and I'm sure we'll get onto this in a bit, but with the fact of and you've mentioned Sam, but and obviously Mason going as well, and Pagey now gone, and we've gone through we've and for a variety of reasons, right? But it's one of those things where you just have to roll with the punches, right? And it's not ideal, is it? I mean, and obviously with Mason leaving for personal reasons and having to go out of football altogether, obviously that's massively sad. And obviously Sam wanted to go back up north, and they what goes on behind the doors of the club, that's kind of that's all up for them to sort out. They wouldn't really bring me in on and allow me to be part of that. It's not yes, I sponsor the shirts, and that's really as far as it needs to go, right? The club run the club, and they do what they need to do, and yes, I'll support if they need support in various areas, and they'll reach out to me. But but when it comes to players and things like that, it's cards close to chests and stuff like that. So
we should say as well, Sam, actually, because Simon, you forwarded something on Twitter to me the other day. Sam, is it Matlock he's gone to?
Yeah, he scored. I think he scored.
Have you seen his goal, Matt? And more importantly, have you seen his goal celebration?
No, that's gonna be on my list. You have to get off this now.
Yeah, it's one of them. What did he do? Like a cartwheel and a backflip or something?
Blimey. I've seen that. I'll have to have a look at that myself. I haven't seen that. I thought what I do, you see, I forward things. Yeah, I forward things to. I don't actually read them.
Yeah.
You sent it to me, Simon. It's a video of him. You sent it to me.
I just read I do what everyone does. I just read the captions. Oh, he scored, and forward it onto you. You know what I mean? that's it. And then forget about it. Yeah. It's on my list. It's on my list now. Keep me awake at night. I'll be watching that before I go to bed. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. So as you said, Miller got one goal there. Chinny got two. And yeah, should have won, obviously, like we said. Right. 5th of October, Saturday the 5th of October, we were at home against Aveley. 2-0 win for us. Miller again with a goal, and Casimir get himself off on the score sheet. Obviously, you guys were there as well. I know he's injured now, but I think for Casimir that was a goal that he really needed, just to sort of, because he was so good, but a couple of years ago for us, wasn't he? And they sort of tailed off after his injury when he got at Sutton. Came back a little bit last year and wasn't really sort of on it. And started pre-season with us this year. Then went to Enfield, and now he's come back. And I think he deserves it. Really, he needed that goal, didn't he?
Yeah, I think from a confidence perspective more than anything else, I think he's been itching. He put in the working on the pitch, and and I think it got to a point where he needed that goal just to kind of kickstart. It's just a shame that he's got that injury again. It's just he just started firing. The promise was there again. Like you mentioned, right? He came back and he looked like he was struggling to be that player that we all knew he was capable of being. Obviously, whether it's was partly psychological because it was a nasty break, wasn't it? He had
Well, yeah, it was a pretty horrible one. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So there's obviously a bit of psychology and stuff there that goes with it.
Yeah.
And I think him getting that goal would have been really allowed him to kick on for the season. And obviously we are starting to ping goals in from various different players now, but having Hish as that that additional striker that you can start relying on to put the ball in the net would have been phenomenal. But obviously now we are with him, right? But
yeah, I have to say, in terms of the game though, God, it was terrible, wasn't it? Jesus, first half was absolutely terrible. Oh
Yeah.
man,
it seems to be a recurring theme at the moment.
Yeah.
Enfield.
Yeah, it was diabolical. I think I was thinking, I thought it was one of them games where I thought, oh God, Aveley are terrible. We're as bad, if not worse. And you can see Aveley sort of getting a goal off someone's bum. I've mentioned bums again. And it'll be they lose 1-0. It was one of them sort of games, a bit like Taunton was last year. Remember that? It was terrible when we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought, oh, here we go, But fortunately, Spencer made a couple of inspired subs, didn't he, on the hour mark, and changed the game. Brought Reggie and Hish on, didn't he? And Reggie's cross for Miller to score. And then obviously Hish went through a little about a minute ago and buried it at the top corner. So it was a pleasing result in the end, and I think we were just glad to get through it. Really, bearing in mind what had happened the 2 days previous, and it was losing Smarty and Mason. Anyway, don't forget Manny Olawake got injured as well. He's not come back yet. He's still injured. So it's just we're just glad to get through the game. Really, I think Spencer alluded to that really in his talk with Dom after the match. He just said, just glad got the win, and we move on and maybe try and get.
It was quite an important game for us to win, really, as well.
Yeah.
It's and with Enfield that we're going to talk about in a bit as well. These were the 2 games that we sort of felt that we needed those 3 points.
You have to, right? Those games, if you want to be up where we are, we want to be pushing for that playoff stroke promotion, then you have to win those games.
Yeah.
Which is what we didn't do. If you think about where we were this time last year, we didn't win those types of matches, right? We were losing those type of matches last year.
Yeah.
So something, we've got a bit more of a resilience behind us now. Yes, we can play really poorly at times, as we've alluded to already, right? But there is, even when we do play poorly and we make, we're having challenging defensive mistakes and things like that. We're still in a position where we can claw it back, and the Enfield game was a great example, right? So, I think there's something about us this year. There's a bit more mental resilience, I think, in the way that we play, and I wonder how much of our disappointment and missing out on the playoffs last year is driving some of that. I don't know, but it feels like there's a hardened shell to us, I guess, in that.
I think you're right there, Matt. You alluded to it. I think the playoff disappointment last season, because we really, I mean, everybody alluded to it. We should have got in the playoffs last year. We should have got in. We were the most formed team in the league. We were pretty much unbeaten since Christmas. We lost maybe 2 games, if that. We had a really good run of form, good play, really playing good football. Everything. We should have got in. So that's fueling it. But also, I think another factor is we've kept the nucleus of the team from last season. So I think that's really, really important, because I think this time last year we were getting rid of players left, right, and centre because they weren't performing. And
that's a good point. We recruited in, and we got all quite excited about what was going on in pre-season last year.
Yeah,
and actually a lot of them were out the door in 3 or 4 months after that.
I mean, I think all the players left, didn't they? All the summer signings all gone by Christmas.
Yeah.
One left. I think we had one left in February. I think even he went. I don't know who that was. I can't remember.
Do you think this, because a lot of the players that we brought in last year were sort of on the older side of things? So do you think now this season, Spencer said loads of times that we've got a young squad.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that's one of the main differences then, that we've actually got a younger, potentially more hungry squad? Because like you said, Matt, the disappointment of missing out on playoffs last year, that's obviously spurred them all on, because that was when they were announcing signings and re-signings in pre-season, virtually all of them said when they was asked what the aim is this season, virtually all of them said playoffs,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what was spurring them all on.
I don't know if it's an age thing. I think it's more of a we've got a better. And I know we've got injuries, right? And Spencer's
Mm,
alluded to that several times in several
mm,
interviews. But it's we've got a bit of a depth, right? When you think about it, yes, we're thin now on the bench, right? I absolutely get that, but you can't help when you look at all the people who are injured in our midfield, whatever. It's
yeah,
hard going, right? But it's I think we're seeing it's confidence breeding confidence now, right? We're winning games, whereas last year, we didn't win an away game until Christmas.
mm,
So we were 3 months without winning an away game, and then all of a sudden we go on that massive run of not of whatever how many games it was unbeaten. But this year we've started well, and I think that's
yeah.
only going to help breed confidence.
They got
Whether that's breeding confidence in the youngsters,
yeah,
it's allowing them a bit more flexibility to play. Yes,
yeah,
like we said, we have ups and downs, right? We almost have like Jekyll and Hyde
mm,
games in within a game, right? Within the first half, and we come back a different team in the second. I have to admit, and I was going to say a little bit earlier, I've been really impressed with Reggie. Really impressed with him this year.
yeah.
I know you had him on the podcast last week, wasn't it? I think
Last week, yeah.
but I think he was. It felt like he was struggling with a bit of his form, knowing that Reggie had how good he can be. I think he struggled a little. It felt like he struggled a little bit last year, but I've been really impressed with him this year. When
I
he's
think
on the field,
potentially we are probably witnessing at the minute the very best of Reggie.
Do you not think though that's because he's playing in the place he should be playing?
should be
He played
playing.
wing back. He played wing back a lot
Well,
last year.
yeah, he played wing back a
Yeah,
lot last year,
yeah.
didn't he? Which he obviously wasn't happy about, which a lot of people weren't happy about. It's not his position. It's not his best position, obviously.
Yeah.
This season, he's playing a lot higher up with a lot more freedom, where he can run with the ball, and look, that showed mainly in the Enfield game. Do you know what I mean?
Game.
So
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that kind of boy. And maybe it's that playing relationship he has with Chinny as well, right? Because they played off each other really well in the Enfield
yeah,
match.
yeah,
I just wonder. I wonder what we're gonna because I don't know how much of this was Jordan going off to Dorking, and that's kind of and Josh coming in, and all of a sudden we're kind of we don't have the luxury of having Jordan up and down the pitch. Josh is I guess in that way is that on that left hand side, he's not that Jordan up and down the field with the pace that we had last year, which means it's a bit the structure's slightly different, right? And therefore, Reggie gets that.
He's definitely more of a defensive left back or defender rather than a forward thinking player, isn't
exactly,
it?
yeah.
Which
like I said, man, that gives us a bit more structure, especially at the back, a bit more security.
Yeah. I think that might suit us better, to be fair, because it just frees up people in front of him, doesn't it? And I mean, whilst Jordan can do both, I'm not saying he can't, because Jordan could do both. He was exceptional, and he was Player of the Year for a reason. He was great going both ways. But as Reggie alluded to in last week's interview that's out, by the way, on our channel, he's a really good one-on-one defender. He's the best at the club, according to Reggie. So that's high praise, really. And he's got the experience as well, being at Woking for a long time, and he's obviously taken the captain's armband as well. So obviously he's really well thought of across the squad. So I don't mind that having a really good defensive left back, because there's a lot of players these days, they've sort of converted wingers almost. Can't really tackle, can't do a lot, win the odd header and get forward more than they defend. So I think really at our level sometimes we get forgotten the defensive side of the game.
And Josh just dropped into the team of the week, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
He has,
following yesterday, it was Saturday's game. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Did you think, Matt? Do you think it's this season with what the results that we've had compared to last year? Do you think it's a more of a mentality thing? They're more mentally able to get through games.
Yes, so I mean, like I said, I think because if you look at what happened when we went on the run last year, right? Everyone, the expectation came up, the confidence came up, and it just like back to back wins, right? And I think it's the same type of thing, right? This season, we've started well. We're top of the table. We weren't even close to top of the table. We like down. I I think at Christmas we were looking over our shoulder at the relegation zone, weren't we? Before
Yeah, we were. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and this year
we
we're
were.
top of the table, and I know it's the end of October, right? But that's a with 20, was it 25 points now after last week, or 22?
25 points. Yeah,
25
yeah.
points.
3 clear.
Think about where we would have been. Like, we would have bitten your hand off for 25 points. We were like dotting around to like 14, 15 points come Christmas time, weren't we? So
yeah,
25 points at this stage of the season is flipping phenomenal. We have to be realistic, right? We're not going to go on a blooming another 25 game unbeaten run or whatever it is and smash the league.
We'd love to.
Oh, could you imagine? We'd be promoted by the end of February.
Yeah, happy days. Yeah.
But I think there's a realism, right, in the squad.
Yeah.
The confidence is breeding confidence. I think there's definitely a strength, a deep-rooted strength in there now. Everyone's playing for one another. Yes, there's a bit of backs against the walls. We've got loads of injuries. We can't, if you've got Louis on the bench, because you can't, I joked in one of the tweets as like, if we're struggling for the bench against Truro, then I can jump on. It's no problem, even with my torn knee ligament.
Strap that knee up.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I think there is we're in a good place, and I think we've got there's a lot of positivity, and I think you see that in a lot of the way that Spencer's talking after the games. Yes, we don't have the biggest budget. We all know that. But what we have seen, and maybe this comes into part of that kind of sponsorship side of things, is that actually the amount of sponsors that we're now starting to bring in, the direction the club's gone in, even since I've been, a part of it, I've seen it change so much, and so much. There's so many people now involved at that kind of, with the new directors and the new structures of the community trust and all of that stuff. Everyone's willing to kind of to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty, right? And I think that if you can get your directors and your non-execs and the owners in that shape, and you're seeing the fans that we're seeing the attendances go up and up and up, we can't ask for any more than that. They're bringing sponsors in. Yes, it's a variety of different sponsors. Obviously, the juice and stand is going to be, a nice addition to it. Our own extension. I think there's a lot to be positive about now in this club, and it's and that then translates onto the pitch. I think it's that symbiotic relationship, right? If you've got stuff going on in the background of the club, and everyone's being positive, things are moving forwards. Yes, they're making adjustments. Sylvie's Kitchen was a great addition this year, right? And there's lots of those kind of visionary type of things that needs to happen with the club and how to take it forwards, and that's cool. That then translates onto the pitch, because then you're starting to bring more people in. The revenue goes up from your turnstiles, and all of a sudden you can start affording players like Aaron Cool, and so it's and I appreciate the directors had to probably put their hands in their pockets a bit to make that happen, but people want to come and play for us, and we're getting the likes of Richard Chin and Aaron Cool coming to want to play for Farnborough, and that's phenomenal, right? So. And it's just going to continue to snowball. So we just got to keep going. And if we hit a bit of a rough patch, which will probably happen at some point, with just the nature of the game, then we all have to stick behind the team and keep going, right? But it's a good place to be right now. It is a good place.
Well, on the Aaron Cool thing, Matt, I did drive past your house earlier, coming from the station. There was a for sale sign up on your house. Have you any truth in the room? If you took the money in? and have you told your missus yet?
Well, I'm kind of glad that you don't know where I live then, because there is no for sale sign outside my house. It's like I say, I think the club did a great job. I think the fact that he was leaving I don't know any of the details, right? But I'm not sure. And he left Dorking. And obviously, he enjoyed his time when he was here. The fans love him, and I think it's he's going to be a fan favourite for at least till the end of next season, right? So
exactly.
No, absolutely,
yeah. Before we talk a bit more about Aaron, we need to discuss the the 4-1 win against Enfield, which again could have could have gone wrong after we conceded a terrible goal.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
dear.
I think I said this on the day. I think Enfield, obviously, it was a game, like I said earlier. It was a game that obviously we had to win. And I think deep down we obviously knew we were going to win because Enfield are not in a very good position at the minute. They've just been promoted this season, so they are struggling and finding their way in this division. But I think they obviously came to the game with a plan of just sitting back, putting men behind the ball, and just hope maybe get the odd counter attack to sort of ease the pressure. And I think they shocked themselves really when they scored the goal, and they didn't really know what to do with themselves after that because usually when you score, sorry.
So we did gift them the goal, though it wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily.
Well, yeah, we did, we did gift them the goal, but
And they tried not to score it twice. They two missed it, and the guy slid at the back post was going wide that shot. You can't tell me that wasn't a cross.
The trouble is usually when a good team like us, when you score the first goal, you then go on and push on for the next one. They didn't really do that because I think they sort of shocked themselves, didn't they? And like I said, and sort of went back into the way that they were playing.
To either, though. I think that
I thought we played really well.
After I mean, the first half was dreadful. I think categorically it was a dreadful first half, and when they came back out, it was like we played a different. We were a different team.
Yeah. I think though that just to put in quickly, Matt. I think that the timing of our goal, and we've done this quite a lot this season. Really we scored goals at really good times, and he's scoring right before half time. That was massive in that Enfield because if they'd have gone into half time thinking we're one up here, they've got something to play for. You know what I mean? But it was 1-1, and we were on the ascendancy, and they weren't. You know what I mean? And during the whole game as well, it was like. I thought after 10 minutes, this was literally right before they scored, which is typical. But I thought we were absolutely all over them, and we were battering them. I thought this could be a cricket score. I was thinking we really were playing well. They hadn't scored, but we were creating things. You could see some things were happening. Then we give away a terrible goal from I don't know. I think Jack. I spoke to Jack briefly after the match, and he said he wasn't expecting the throw-in to go back, and he took him by surprise a bit, and then he missed the clearance, and it. Yeah, it all went a bit wrong.
But that goal felt like the ball. When I was watching it, like the ball felt like it took an eternity. So it bounced and then it took an eternity to come down onto.
Yeah.
I guess
move on from that. But anyway, it didn't matter because we obviously we scored right on Miller scored, didn't he, on 42nd minute, another goal, and we were like, and I thought, here we go, we're going to do all right. And I went in actually at half time. I was in chatting to a couple of people in the Platt Lounge, and then I had a cup of coffee. Turned around just as Ricky put the ball in. I saw Richard Chin diving in on it and scored. So I guess in there, turned around just at the right time. Unlike Alan the other week, who went to the toilet and missed the goal.
Actually. But I think so Miller got 2 goals and that Chin got 1, and then clearly the goal of the game came from Reggie himself.
Yeah,
with the. Screaming effort from just inside the box on the corner?
Yeah.
Nice. Straight into the top corner.
But there was a nice little chip over the top because they were working really nicely in that corner. So that's where I was. I was stood down at the side.
Right.
I was right behind them there. The little chip from Chinny to get to free up Reggie in the box, and then that finish was phenomenal. But it was coming. I think Reggie had been across that middle, working with Chinny in that corner. Like I said earlier, like really, they formed quite a really solid partnership.
He's becoming the assist king, old Chinny, and he's got like I say, we'll move on to it. But he got another one on Saturday as well, so he's certainly getting involved in goal involvements. I think they call them these days, don't they? So not only scoring, he scored 3, but I think he's got 5 assists.
Some of the language we're not allowed to use anymore, is it?
I mean, he's been a good addition. Hopefully, we need to keep hold of him really. But then obviously we had the Enfield game, good result, good decent crowd as well. I think it was just under 1,200, which was really good.
Just under 1,200, yeah.
Yeah, it's 11:58, I think it was. Which is good. And then we had the news that Pagey was going to leave on Thursday, which we all were a bit upset about because he's a really good player. But obviously, we'd had Reggie on talking about him the previous week, saying what a great player he was on the ball. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I think we cursed him.
He must have known something. Yeah.
No more players allowed to come on this podcast.
yeah. Oh, we need the players. I know what me and Alan talking. Got to be boring. Then we had that, and then obviously we had the news that we were going to get a loan signing in, which was good. and the defender.
Don't
Bateson.
forget Hish as well. Hish getting that.
Yeah, he's injured. Yeah, well, I
Confirming
think
his injuries.
I think we, I
Keep him
think we
out
knew
for a
he was
couple of
injured,
months.
didn't we? I think we knew he was out. We were just waiting
Yeah,
for confirmation on what it was, and yeah, it's 6 weeks to
yeah.
2 months, isn't it? So yeah, hamstring, which is a shame. So hopefully he sticks around, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. And then yeah, then we had the Bateson coming in, captain of the Luton under-21 team. I think I think Miller might have a bit to do with that one. Because he seems to know him. Calls him the general apparently.
So what is he? He's a right back. Is he a right back?
Centre back, I think.
Centre back. Is that
Centre
just to
back,
give us
yeah, I
cover
think it's
with?
centre back.
Is that just give us cover with Guy and because
Yeah,
Guy's
he's got
injured.
I think
Guy's
so,
injured
yeah.
as well, isn't he? Yeah, Guy's got
Yeah,
an
Guy
ankle problem.
may have to get an operation, possibly. That's what Spencer was saying in his in one of his previous
Yeah.
post
Well, we
matches.
well, we spoke to Guy, didn't we? After one of the, I think it was after
He
the
did,
game,
yeah.
I think,
He did tell
and
us about it.
he said he had an injection in it, and he's just seeing how it goes. And obviously didn't flare up at all, but he might have had a reaction because he came on against Enfield, didn't he, for 10 minutes
He
at the
did,
end?
yeah.
He might have
Yeah.
had a reaction possibly, but yeah, still the work in progress that one. So he was on the bench though Saturday, wasn't he? So hopefully he's all right. But yeah. Yeah, then we had obviously had the really exciting news about Aaron Cool signing, which is really good. So we went from I went from being really bedepressed on Friday to being actually quite
I think
happy.
that seemed to be across the Farnborough fan base at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god! Like the sky was falling down, and then all
Yeah.
of
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
But you notice
I was
how
driving on,
you
I was
notice
driving
how
on the M1. I was driving on the M1. I thought about smashing my car into a tree, but I thought give it a while. Think of your son. I thought think of your son. Think of the podcast. I thought what I mean. No, don't do it. Just as well.
but yeah. So then Cool was announced that he was re-signing after leaving Dorking, and I said to Simon that so you notice how many people, obviously, like when Page left, there was an uproar. People were upset and angry, and then do you notice how quickly they forgot about Page once Cooley was announced?
yeah.
Like Page,
I'm disappointed with the FA though. I mean, this seems to be our constant battle. I just heard Spence mention on his last one that couldn't play on Saturday because FA couldn't do their own paperwork in time.
Yeah,
that doesn't.
But yeah, Bateson was done. Bateson was done in time, and he was on the bench.
Yeah,
against
that's
Chelmsford.
I don't understand why the FA, when it's their job, right, to push all this stuff through. I was
Friday night, innit? Maybe no one works in the FA on Fridays.
Well,
apparently,
my sales manager was like, maybe I should get onto the Hampshire FA and see if they need help with their processes and stuff. Streamline their processes. But that didn't really sit well with me. But I don't know how much that was actually lack of people to do the doing in the FA versus. I mean, maybe I was overthinking it, thinking back to like
it should as a
Hampshire Cup debacle.
Yeah. I think as he was technically a free transfer, it should have really just it should have gone pretty quickly because it's not like we've signed him from Dorking.
Hang on. I think we're missing the important thing here, though. Apparently, he was signed on the day before.
Yeah.
So
they had the Friday.
They're all day Friday. We might have announced it Friday. But he was signed the day before, apparently. So it's just like what?
Going on Thursday, I think, didn't it?
Yeah. But when
So he might have signed club forms on Thursday, and then they would have sent them off maybe late Thursday. So, like I said, maybe nobody works in the FA on Fridays.
Maybe the fax machine ran out of paper. You know what I mean? It might have been that.
But all jokes aside,
he's here, so that's fine. He's here, so that's good.
Yeah, I think you need to get onto him, Matt. Say, listen, Tratech, I'm your man. Yeah.
Dust off the wigs now, ready for.
The wigs! Can't wait for those. Have you got them? Can you exclusively reveal you've got 500 wigs for the next game?
I haven't got 500.
Disappointed.
No, I haven't.
Disappointed.
I don't know what Simon was expecting there, Matt.
No, well, I was thinking actually maybe if you could do it for the Dorking game because that would just be like
we should do it for the Dorking game. It'd be great.
Yeah,
couldn't get a wig.
It'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. In fact, I think you might change businesses, Matt. Just start doing full wigs instead of Tratech. I think you could be onto a winner there. Yeah, a bit like in COVID, get the old jabs and the PPE out. You make a fortune.
I think there's enough of that, Simon. But I think that might have hit something on the head there because if we can reach out to all the Farnborough fans, if everyone can get a nice curly wig.
Hit one on the head. That's the worst pun I've ever had in my life. And didn't even mean it. Even did it.
If
Terrible.
everyone can get a nice curly wig ready for the Dorking game, because I think Mark White would appreciate that big time.
Yeah, we'll make him wear one.
I was thinking about getting 10 or 11 for the under 8s.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I think they're mascotting on that day.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
Max and our teams are going to be.
Isn't it? It's a Say No to Racism Day, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. Just a word of note, ladies and gents. It's Say No to Racism Day, 2nd of November. That's Dorking at home. So I think, is it red? What's the red t-shirts over the top of the shirts, warming up and things like that?
Yeah, I think they normally do that. I think they started it last year. So
yeah.
Good cause, something to get behind.
We'll be playing in the morning, oh no, actually, we won't be playing in the morning because it's the half term, so there's no fixtures on the second.
Yeah.
So yeah, which would be good. It means they won't be turning up in stinking dirty kit. So yeah, but no, it'd be good. But that I think if we can get if I can get hold of some wigs, that'll be.
Yeah, I've got an old moped that looks like that at home. I might use that, to be fair. I might give it a watch first though.
You don't do any cleaning in that house, Simon. Don't
I said when I do. I said that's why I'm not going to use the mop. I'm going to use the head for my head. Yeah. Mind you, I've got a very pristine head of hair already. Really, it's a bit of a shame to cover it up, but there we go.
It's the face that needs covering.
All for a good cause,
Right. Let's quickly go over the Chelmsford game. It was away, obviously, on Saturday. Miller again with another goal. Pendlebury with a trademark free kick. Have you guys seen the free kick?
I did. I watched it just before I jumped on here. Actually, it snuck in that bottom corner. Thought the keeper was going to get hold of it, but it just snuck in. No.
I see. That's what I like about you, Max. You're doing your homework before you come on. I like that. Very good. Very good.
Nothing to do with you guys. It's just popped up on my Twitter
feed. Popped
up. Obviously, none of us were at the game, but again, another great win to keep us top of the table. Matt, as a shirt sponsor, and that it must be good for you, nice for you to see the team doing so well.
I think generally from a farmer perspective, it's lovely to see them doing well, right? I think that's regardless of sponsorship deals and stuff like that. I think it's having I guess there are a lot of fans who have been with the club through thick and thin and the ups and downs of the journeys over the last number of decades. I'm not one of them. Obviously, I'm fairly new to the area, but the fact that we're sitting where we are, the buzz around, we already talked about the buzz around the club, and the positivity that's there, and all moving together in the right direction. It's really encouraging, and I think that's just yes, we're sitting pretty at the top of the table. I did get I was kind of like a bit antsy when Spencer talked about being top of the table after 2 games, and I was like, oh, and then we lost 2 on the bounce, and it's like, oh god, we go, but we've sitting where we are. It's great, we've got okay. Tomorrow's game against Truro is almost like a proper 6-pointer this early in the season, right? If we can win that, we open a gap up between ourselves and second, right? But I think there is still a long way to go, isn't there? I mean, let's be honest. We're not popping champagne corks just anytime.
We're a quarter of the way through the season, aren't we? In a minute, and like Matt, like you said, Matt, really good result against Chelmsford. Obviously, same we were there. I think the man of the match probably was Josh Casey on his birthday. I think from what I've gathered, Jack had a really good game as well, and obviously we heard from Cole day before yesterday, and he said Miller was his man of the match. So it sounds like all round it was a really good team performance. We've got 3 different players all getting the plaudits, so it's all bodes well. We had a bit of a scratch bench as well, just free defenders on the bench, and Louis obviously. That was it. So back to the wall job. Got the result.
It's also showing these, because obviously all these games we're sort of a bit thin on the ground with player wise. But it's showing the resilience of the team, pulling all together to get the results that we desperately need. And we say like the Enfield game, we knew it was going to win. Aveley was a must win, but also Chelmsford is one of those games where you need to that's where you need to go away and get the points. When you go to places like Chelmsford, because they're so difficult, and like Spencer said, it's one of his hoodoo teams, it's one of his bogey teams. So for him personally, it's probably a good win for him as well.
Because you need binoculars to actually see the pitch.
Right? We're yet to experience the delights of the Chelmsford ground, but it kind of sort of sparked, because obviously we've spoken to Louis, who does the Chelmsford Extra Twitter page.
Clarets Extra, yeah.
Clarets Extra, Clarets Extra Twitter page, and I showed you, didn't I, Simon, a couple of things that he's been saying online.
Oh, I've seen them all as well.
It's a little bit bitter. It's a little bit bitter.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, Chelmsford, for
Yeah,
not quite Truro level of dedication.
No,
right, but it's still the wrong side of the M25, right?
Yeah,
So
like whacking Great Bridge to go over as well. I mean, God, Jesus, it's
But
it's
do you think
see the game because you're 300 meters away from the pitch because it's athletics track there, right?
Yeah.
Matt, what do you think? Because it's happened a couple of times, I think, this season, where, because obviously, like you said earlier, and Spencer said loads of times as well, financially our budget is one of the smallest in the league, but yet we're doing as well as we are doing. Is there a kind of bitterness, or are they just
I
jealous
think that's just football nature, right? It's that where whoever's on top's gonna, like, what happened to Hemel on the top, and they were getting smashed left, right, and centre from various people and various clubs, and a lot of the time that's local rivalries and stuff as well, right? The St Albans and Hemel kind of joys that go there, but and then as soon as they start, and a lot of it, I think we over egg, right? You look at the some of the Facebook banter groups and stuff like that. It's just like, it's fun, right? It's not serious. I don't think it's jealousy. I think what we have to acknowledge is that even with the budget as it is, and I would, even to the point that I would love to be able to say I can put more money to help the club, but I mean, I can't. But it's got to the point where you have to take your hats off to Spencer and Rob and the directors, because they're bringing in these players and they're encouraging them, and we're signing quality players, right? And there's a reason for that. It's not there is a whole ethos that we try and sell to these players, and they buy into it, and once they bought into it, they'll play for the club and they'll play for the badge, right? And that's what we want. That's all we can
I think also that regardless of how good the players are and how much money we haven't got, there's the way Spencer and the management team manage the players. They really look after them. I mean, Spencer alluded to it with Aaron. When Aaron signed, was we signed him on a 2-year deal, and but we play. He's turned down lots of other offers. So he said 14, but I heard it was 44. But anyway, however many it was, I mean, they're not going to be able to offer what we offer because we look after people. You know what I mean? And Aaron's
for Cooley is around the corner from his house, right?
Yeah,
so
ideal. Yeah.
I mean, who knows that Aldershot and Woking may have been in that list of offers as well, right? Which is a lot closer than some of the other clubs that maybe he had offers for. So yeah, I think it comes back to you. But then again, remember when he was here last season, right? He loved it, right? And the fans, the relationship with the supporters, and you could just see that all the way through to the final game of the season. And obviously it was disappointing that we couldn't get him at the start of the season, but the fact that we've got him now is an absolute monster signing, right? So
I mean, I think every Farnborough fan, I think, has had since he was he was on loan with us, did so well. Really had a real good relationship with everybody at the club, and he just played really well as well, and he solved our penalty hoodoo as well, which is even more important. Until he
even if he has got a funny way of doing it.
Yeah, and he just comes up and smashes it. And just that one that went into orbit, I think that's still going around the Earth somewhere. Still orbiting the moon at the minute. He just he was top of the list of every Farnborough fan trying to get him back in. I was definitely one of them who was pushing for it, but unfortunately, I think the money dictated. Really, he still had a year's contract at Dorking. There was no need for Dorking to sell him. They didn't want to sell him. They wanted him in.
And obviously, as well, he himself, he obviously didn't want to leave Dorking. It was a professional setup. He wanted that security of the professional contract, and why not? Do you know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate for him during this season, this early part of the season, he got himself injured, and he's been out of the club. And for whatever reason, between him and Mark, they've decided to part ways. And
I think it's very similar though, isn't it, with us and Pagey, because Pagey wants first team football. Spencer's obviously they've had a conversation probably over the last couple of weeks, and he wasn't starting matches, was he? all of a sudden, and then
No.
and when he did start one, he went off injured, and it's kind of like a bit like that. It's been a bit stop-start. So I think they're probably between Page and Spencer, and then Spencer and Cooley, and then Cooley and Mark
Yeah.
White. They've probably all had the same sort of conversation. Said, "Listen, I want to play more. I
Yeah.
want more first team football." And then the managers turned around and said, "Well, I can't guarantee it. So where do we go? You know what I mean?" And usually when that happens, the player leaves and goes to try something else
I
because
mean, if you think
they
about
want
like
to play.
we've got him like our midfield now. If everybody, someone put it out on the on Twitter, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and said, "Look at this
Weapons there.
midfield, right? You know, with
Yeah.
Manny and Penders and now Aaron and Joe and and Taylor, like Reggie,
well.
Kinney, like
Yeah.
how like you've got to, there's going to be that's a management
Yeah.
challenge in
Yeah.
itself.
I mean,
right?
don't-
Getting
It's a
them
big
game
issue for them.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget. Obviously, we've got Ryan Mason out on loan. I mean, he's played 6 games now for I think Chertsey.
Ryan Mason. You
Ryan
mean
Mason.
Ben Mason?
Yeah, did I say Ryan? I don't know why I just said Ryan.
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought probably.
he's due
But I'm
to
thinking about next season,
back.
next signing.
He's due to be back now. I think his loan's up. He was only out for a month.
Yeah, I think his loan's up now. He's due back now.
Yeah, I
And then
expect him
obviously-
to be at least on the bench tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
Well,
big-
he's a really good player as well. He's a really, really good player, and he was great for us last season on loan, wasn't he? We signed him, a really good signing. Again, another one at the top of the list of signings that we wanted in the summer, who we got in, and he's a bit unlucky with injuries, hasn't he? But yeah, he's a really good player. He's played 6 games for Chertsey when he's been on
7 because he played at the weekend.
He plays, even more. So he
played
scored
on
one.
Saturday.
He scored one and got one own goal, hasn't he? So he's
Yeah.
level par for the season. So that's not terrible.
But the important thing is he's gone through all of that injury free, no reoccurrence of his hamstring, which is good. Which is obviously a problem for most players when it comes to hamstrings. So that's good that he's come through that. And
I think
hopefully
also it also means we got Taylor now who can play further up the pitch in defensive midfield rather than right back. Dan Bradshaw as well. He's starting to look like the player he was at the start of the season now. After gone for a bit of a rough
what
patch.
has happened with Dan? Because like he just dropped to the bench for a long time, right?
Yeah, I think Spencer
well,
alluded to it. He said Spencer said he just lost a bit of confidence, and he'd obviously overplaying really because at the start of the season we obviously with Ben getting injured.
Played quite a lot, didn't he?
He played a lot, and I think it was to his detriment really, and he sacrificed himself a lot for the team and doing that. And he's been on the bench coming on, and every time he's come on, he's actually looked pretty good. Now, whereas he came on the first 2 times he was on the bench, he looked terrible. So no offense, Dan. But yeah, he was he looks a lot better, and he's a really good lad as well, and he's versatile as well. I think he came on and played midfield actually on Saturday. Bowl of what I was told. So
for what we were reading,
yeah. So it's good to have him back. Him and Ben can compete for right back. Taylor can play a bit further up. And obviously got Cooley in there with Penders. Obviously my player of the season so far, Ricky Holmes. Playing where he should be, further forward, either behind the striker or out wide. Reggie, Miller up top. So yeah, I think we've got and Joe Haig coming back from injury now as well. He started as well Saturday. It was really good. So yeah, I think things looking rosy for tomorrow night. It'll be a big game.
Big game tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You at the game, Matt?
Yep, I'll be there tomorrow.
Big days, cool. Yeah, I'll be there. Alan's decided not to bother. So
No, he's gonna make you look stupid now. He's gonna say he's actually gonna go to Truro away. In February.
Tell you what, if you do,
it's not likely.
If you do, I'll pay for you to go down there and the ticket. But you have to pay for it. Yeah, you have to taxi it back though.
Yeah. Did you see the announcement as well from the club today about the Torquay bus, which was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
putting on the coach go down to Torquay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put a retweet out about that and popped it on Insta. So
That's
yeah.
really, and that
Is he going to go down for that?
don't know because it's a Saturday, and it's again the under 8s stuff that I do, the Farmer under 8s. It's not, by the time they're done, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock, right? If you kick off at.
The coach is leaving at 9:45, so you'll miss it.
Yeah, so we're probably not. I
Can
doubt I'll be going down.
you not just do the first half, Matt, and nip off early?
Yeah, I'm sure the others would love that as well. Yeah. No. So I don't know. To be honest, I might see what the art of the trains looks like. I know it's 60 quid or whatever it is to get down there. Debate. We'll see what happens. But for the fact that they're putting that on is great, and I think that we're seeing more of that from Fast as well, which is just goes to show how much we're moving forwards, right? And I keep saying it, but that's it's that kind of stuff. If we start continuing to, the match day experience is improving. We're doing more like the futsal teams are coming, the women's teams are doing amazingly well. The inclusion of the women's pathway for the girls coming through, mini kickers is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's just breeding such a good community vibe in that in the club, and
Yeah.
it just means that more people are going to come and want to watch us on a Saturday afternoon, and that we
Yeah.
can't ask.
Yeah.
I wanted to sort of touch on this as well, Matt, because
Yeah.
obviously, with all of this new sponsors coming in and all of this stuff that you've just talked about that's going on since you joined the club, as all of this sort of improvement and engagement and community sort of feel, has this sort of is this why you extended your
Yes,
your
100%.
contract with the
Yeah,
club?
I love the club. I love the involvement with the club. I've loved the whole, just the whole openness of recognizing that there is a journey that the club wants to go on, but it needs support top to bottom, right? To do that, I think I wrote a small article on LinkedIn a little while back on kind of the roles of volunteers within grassroots and how important they are. Like the club is nothing without the volunteers. You mentioned Carl earlier, on the turnstiles every week, and you've got Paul and Sarah and Kelly, that all dotted throughout the entirety of the club, and in doing multiple things as well. So it's not even just one area. So I think without the volunteers in the club, it doesn't run. But I think what I've seen definitely, and I think a number of the sponsors will say the same thing, is that it's just getting better and better and better. They're now doing an active engagement on I think it might be Wednesday actually, this week or tomorrow. I'm not sure. I think it might be tomorrow actually. There's a sponsors lunch thing where they can get all the sponsors together, for example, because we don't typically, you can't always get to meet all the sponsors in the ground on a Saturday. So they're bringing us all together. Unfortunately, I can't attend because I've got to go traveling for work. But it's just that whole working together for working towards the same goal, and that kind of disseminates down from the strategy from Garbo and from Rob and from and Spencer and just coming. And I think that's something that you can really get behind, and you can see it. We're announcing, Connor's doing a great job in that commercial space, right? That he's bringing in sponsors left, right, and centre because everyone wants to be part of it. And I think that when I look back at when I started, it was the beginning of the journey. Obviously they'd gone through the whole, the promotion, getting back up into National League South, but it hadn't quite kicked in to gear yet. Do you know what I mean? It was just like slowly on the upward trajectory, but now it feels like we're just kind of doing that now. And I think there's a lot of thought that needs to go into, we can all get excited about where we are in the league and playoffs and promotions and stuff like that. Let's not, and happy days, absolutely, let's go on that ride, right? If we do get promoted, we're going to have a very hard season next season. And I think there's, it'll be a bit of a whirlwind, I think, for us. But then what does that mean? What's our next level? Okay, our next level is how do we get to a full-time professional outfit? And then how do you kick on from there?
Yeah.
So I think there's levels of roadmap and vision that the club needs to go on, and all we are now is we're at step one of that roadmap. And I think there's
I know you said
go, right. So
I know you've spoken to us before, like at games and that, especially like when you first joined the club, that you had like you wanted to see that sort of vision of where the club wanted to go. And is that what you're seeing? And that's obviously part of the reason
100%.
why you're carrying on your sponsorship. So you're obviously seeing, and we're all seeing it. Do you know what I mean? What that vision is now starting to take fruition. With, like you say, we're still at step one, but you can see the future, almost see into the future now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's definitely a obviously living in Farnborough. It's not like I I'm living back in Cardiff or whatever and sponsor doesn't. But because I'm a resident farmer and I'm up the road from the ground, and it's part of. I've become so kind of almost entrenched in it all now, with the fact that I unfortunately I've had to stop doing mini kickers just because of childcare stuff that I've got going on Sunday. But training with coaching the under-8s on a Wednesday and the matches on a Saturday. There's obviously the first team games that are going on. Still doing stuff for the club when it comes to match day. Did some match day experience stuff last season. Maybe we'll do a bit more of that this year as we get into the depths of winter when everyone's freezing and other bits and pieces I've been doing behind the scenes with the club as well. So it's like I've loved being part of it, and I wanted to kind of continue that. We started on the journey, so why not continue?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you mentioned. I want to bring it back to what you said before about the volunteers, and there's no club in the non-league that doesn't rely, and I'll use that word not advisingly, but shout it out. The people volunteer. They're not paid. They're there, and you see this, and the Farnborough especially. You see the same faces every week. People like there are some names you didn't mention. Also, was Phil Martin. I mean, he drove the minibus to Hemel. He does that, not as well as all the other bits he does around the club. He's there all the time. Yeah. You've got people like Suzanne who are in the lounge. She also attends all the women's games.
Don't forget, is it Libby who does the football, the cards and that just inside the ground?
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's there. You've got Trevor behind the bar. He's there all the time. And there's Rita as well, and the other chap. I don't know his name, but he's always buzzing around doing things. There's 4 or 5 of them in there now that run that. There's so many people that, I mean, even down to Steve, who I've known for a long time, doing the stadium announcing with Rob, his mate, and they've come back into the club this season, having been away for a few years. So I think that says a lot, really, that people were involved in the club, want to come back in, which is really, really good. So usually when you leave somewhere, you don't end up going back because nothing changes. It's the same old thing you left for. But now I think there's definitely a big push. Yeah, so it's really good. And you see the same, and not forgetting Bob as well, who does the stewarding for the Platinum Lounge as well.
Yeah, I keep forgetting my flipping badge, don't I? I always get told off.
Yeah. Fortunately, you pay your money, Matt. I mean, if Alan turns up without his badge, Bob will sling him out. But yeah,
no, I don't get in. I'm not allowed in. I get told off not only by Bob, I also get told off by Sarah.
He's good at that. He's good at that.
He does rule
as well. Let's not forget the people, the fans that turn up week in, week out, especially at home games. We've seen over the last 2-3 years the gradual increase in attendances, especially at home.
I've forgotten someone. Probably most important of all, Kevin Dyer. What about Kev? Got to forget about him. He need to give him all the mention. I've fully forgotten. I've mentioned.
Right? He is.
Yeah, he's Mr. Farmer, isn't he? Yeah. Even though he says he wants me to wear a tie in the Platinum Lounge when I go in there, but
I think you're right. I mean, it's got to the point where, obviously he's there. He and Phil are out all the time on the doing the ground and making
sure for the pitch. Yeah,
the
pitch is unbelievable at the minute as well, isn't it? So it's just so.
Considering the amount of rain we've had as well, it's doing a great job.
Sorry, I'll cut you off. Sorry about
that. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you rude bastard. But like I said, in the last couple of years, we have seen the gradual increase in attendances at home. And for someone like you, Matt, as a sponsor, as well as all the sponsors, which is why they're coming in, because they want to see, you want your name. Ultimately, it's about getting your name out there, isn't it? And the more fans that are in the ground, home and away fans, the better it is for you.
Absolutely, and if you think about it, where we are, we're punching high in the league. That gets you in front of the National League paper, and that goes all over the country, right? So, the hard bit is quantifying it. Like everyone says, "Oh, do you get your money back for?" It's like, well, actually, for me, it's not. It's a bit of publicity on the front of a shirt, but you can't quantify work from it on the back of it. But actually, what it does allow is it allows us to help the club and help the community, right? Fundamentally. We talk about great attendances. The real test of what our attendance bucket's going to be like is going to be on a Tuesday night in the depths of winter. Tomorrow will be our first big test.
Yeah,
it's true to see what our Tuesday night crowd's going to be.
You did right.
We haven't had. We've only had one Tuesday night.
Eastbourne was the last one.
Yeah, that was That was
decent
still
crowd.
that was what 800-ish, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
From what-
945, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
945. Yeah, early in the season as well. I mean, that was a good game. They were a good side.
So we
as well,
we're on that upward. Tomorrow will be. I think we'll clear the 1,000 tomorrow, which will be
Like, yeah,
but that'll be
yeah,
really good. Like if we can do that on a
yeah,
Tuesday,
Yeah.
then we know we're in a good place, and that's what we're going to have to try and look at. And part of the vision was to try and grow the average attendances to above the 1,000 mark, and then the next target will be to get it above the 2,000 mark. And if we do get promoted, then that will organically happen anyway, because we'll be playing against clubs who will travel, who have supporters that travel, right? So we will consistently get higher revenue gates. If we go up. So there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes, right? But it's definitely a place to be right now. There's a lot of people waxing lyrical about what we're doing. There's a lot of people, opposition. There's a guy on I must spend my life on Twitter. I don't know how I've come across all this stuff, right? But just constant, Yeovil fan now constantly kind of keeping an eye on what we're doing, and talking around how well we're doing. So if you're getting that from other clubs, and we're a good place to come, you're not, the some of the negativities going away, and it becomes more of an entertainment. And let's be face it, it's an entertainment business, right? So match day experience, the game on the pitch, it all feeds into a good atmosphere on the club, and we can't ask for any more than that.
Yeah. You mentioned about people talking about us on Twitter, etc. I've actually had a chap from called Kai, who actually messaged me directly on the Instagram page that I run, he lives in Andover, and he's followed Farnborough for about maybe 6 months or so, and he's really got into it, and he's started listening to the podcast as well, which is really good. Obviously, he's well educated about the club via us. And
Did you mean desperate?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, nothing better to do. Yeah, and he's So I'll just shout out to Kai. Thanks for getting in touch, and keep the messages coming. I haven't replied to his latest message actually. He sent it last night. But yeah, he said Reggie's one of his favourite players. A really good creative player. Definitely going to keep following the club now. Loving the play. Going to start. He wants to start coming to the game. So yeah, just little things like that. Really. I mean, he's got into it just over the last sort of 18 months or so, and he's really loving things in life.
Same as well. Don't forget Jack over in Ireland, young Jack.
Oh yeah, Jack. Yeah, hello Jack. Yeah, he's an Irish fan.
He's done the same. He's done the same. Yeah. Living in Ireland, follows Dundalk Football Club over there, and obviously through what we've done over the last couple of years, has almost fallen in love with Farnborough Football Club as well. So now he's following, and he's got a flag up in the PRE end. For his Twitter handle. So that's what we're reaching out. We're reaching out, and that's a good thing. Really, isn't it?
Need to increase it in the local area now. I think that's a lot of the next stage of the work is because we've got Aldershot and we've got Woking fairly close to us, and obviously the links into London for ease of access to the Premier League. It's how do we increase the fan base? How do we tap into the wider Farnborough community? How do we make it easier for people to come to the games? You've got the likes of Mitchett and Frimley and Camberley and Bagshot, and those areas aren't served really by any club at our level. Bracknell maybe, but they won down from us, right? But so there's opportunity there to try and encourage people from outside of Farnborough.
That happened to us about a month ago, wasn't it? Was it Fleet we went to, Simon? Was it the Fleet game we went to? And it was called off because the referee didn't turn up.
One we tried to go to,
yeah. And one of their fans with his son, we were talking to him outside the ground, and he ended up coming to I can't remember what game it was that we was at, but he actually came and we saw him because we were doing the commentary, and we saw him sitting below us with his son.
It was the Tonbridge game. I think it was one we lost 2-0. Don't think he'll be back. Yeah.
but that's what Matt's talking about, is that reaching the wider areas. And that's what I say. Their game was off, for whatever reason. It was the referees didn't turn up, and he ended up coming to. We said to him, "Come to the game. Come watch Scotland." Kid coming
Yeah,
free.
yeah, it was
Under
the bank.
16.
It was the bank holiday Monday, wasn't it? That was, and the
Yes.
Fleet moved their kickoff earlier because obviously fearful that the Farnborough crowd wouldn't go to the Fleet game if they had it at the same time. So they moved it, and we now thought we'll watch two games. So we ended up going to Fleet, waited outside for about 20 minutes, no referees. So we decided, right, we'll go watch Camberley.
Yeah.
They went to watch Camberley, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Ended up there.
In our All Things Borough shirts as well.
Yeah, we missed half the game as well because we were travelling over.
We did. Yeah.
Nightmare. Yeah, worth the £8 though. Just to look at the slopey pitch. There we go. Yeah, they were playing Santos, weren't they? Camberley Santos. That's right. Yeah, I was going to say to you, Matt, you might not be able to quantify the money you've spent out in the sponsorship and things, and we thank you for it. But you must surely be able to quantify the amount of business you've had sponsoring the podcast this season, because you must have thousands of people inquiring day in day out just from our episodes.
To drain on my finances, you two. I tell you what. No.
The inquiry isn't it behind you? Isn't that the inquiry board just from today? I can't read it properly. It's a bit skewed, but I'm sure it is. There's names and phone numbers and addresses and things on there, isn't it?
This is the code that manages to turn you off at the end. That's the
yeah. Whilst we're on the subject of your company, people may not know about Tratech, but just give us just a 30 seconds of what Tratech is as a company, what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly straightforward, to be honest. So we're a people, process, and technology group. We're now in the process of rebranding it a little bit. So you'll see, you've probably seen the change of logo and all the rest of it. That'll be reflected on shirts for next season with a change of color of the logo. I'm not saying that there's going to be new shirts. I have no idea. Again, don't get involved in that. But yeah, we focus on people and process predominantly as a foundation for transforming business. So things like, you want to do some sort of process change within your business. We look at the people, we look at the process, and then in tech that enables it. So a bit of a trifecta approach to transforming people's businesses. Is not all about IT. Actually, the IT is the easy bit. The hardest bit is people change. And so we do a lot of work with companies on supporting them through that change from start to finish. So yeah, we're quite fortunate in the fact that we're not niched in any particular area. So everyone talks about niching in a specific, particularly in our business. And actually we find that you don't need to do that because our skills transfer across all industries. So it means that I can go into a FTSE 100 global company and do some project management for cybersecurity, or I can do a process change for a local authority, or we can do AI training for a small kind of 10-15 person business, right? It doesn't matter size, scale, it's all relative, but it allows us to kind of stay on the pulse of technology and advancements in thinking, and but yeah, and that's kind of what I've also tried to bring to the club, right? In the way that we approach it, looking at we've done a few things with them in the background, some kind of, as you probably have saw the feasibility studies that went out, but also looking at like the actual business itself, from the match day experience side and things like that. Just recommendations on how on areas to improve. And yeah, it's not as not demanding, it's not as difficult, and it's not any more difficult than that. It's just working with people and process, and then layering tech on the top if it's needed.
So if someone's wanting to change their business and wanting to go forward with it, how do they get in touch with you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways. One, if you're at the ground, you probably see me knocking around, just generally pacing at times, but or just go to the website. I mean, I think that you've got the links and stuff all, or you'll probably put them all in the chat and stuff. But we're going to be launching a new website in the next couple of weeks, which will be good. And my marketing company have convinced me to get behind the camera and do some videos and stuff, or get in front of the camera even and do some videos, which I absolutely detest. So you can have a laugh at them when they come out.
You're not going to be getting in front of the videos then?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I did. Whether I should have or not is another question. But yeah, we'll have. So yeah, that's coming out in the next couple of weeks. But if they go to tratechconsultant.co.uk, or just come and find me at the ground, then happy to chat through.
Good. Happy days. Happy days. If you need someone to front your new business campaign, mate, don't look any further than me. Obviously, face for radio.
Oh yeah, yours is a paper bag job, isn't it?
Yeah. Just two eye holes. So I can see where I'm going. See my way over the cliff. That's right. Yeah. After that last comment, you've killed my confidence for the next 30 seconds. He'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah. Matt, just before we go, you've mentioned them a couple of times now. You do the under eights, the Farnborough under eights. How's that going?
It's been a great start actually, because the under eights we tried to do an under sevens last year, but we just didn't have the under sevens is a tricky age because you have to be 6 to start in grassroots as a minimum. Right. Whereas an under eights, you can be, as long as you turn 7 by the 1st of September, I think, or you can play up basically.
Yeah.
So we had a lot more. So we had a lot of interest this year. So we had to form 2 teams. So we started with 14. We had 14 playing the first couple of games, where we had to split them into 2, and you play one set of 7 in the first half and one set of 7 in the second half. In the end, by the time talk about paperwork and leagues and stuff like that, we had to get all the paperwork sorted, which Mike and Kieran did a great job of getting that kind of sorted out. But now, so we've got 2 teams now. So I take one of them. So we train them all together on a Wednesday, and then Max takes the Blues team, and I'll take the it doesn't really have a colour. The other one's under 8s Blues, and the other one's just under 8s.
The colourless team.
I call it the yellows now because it's just easier for me to distinguish between the 2. But it's been interesting actually, because a lot of the teams we're playing against, it's been really even. There's never been a game where we've gone into and we've lost 20-0 or really even, because we also have because we've got 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds in these teams at varying capability, and it's about trying to pull the 6-year-olds up and encourage everybody else to play as a team, and it's great. And I think a lot of the we see a lot of the parents comment after games. We're only 5 or 6 games into the season. A lot of the parents have commented on how improved their children are. So we take a lot of confidence and a lot of pride in that. We're not allowed to talk about scores. It's just development football. But it's we're always within a goal or 2. We've not, like I say, within a goal or 2, either winning or losing. But yeah, I've been really proud of them on how they, particularly how they've adapted and how they've persevered with it. And just taking everything on board. They're absorbing stuff that it's going to get interesting over the winter. We found that this Saturday when we played Goldsworth Park, and the heavens absolutely emptied. It was the first time any of them had ever played in the rain, and you could just see how they just went into themselves a little bit. And when it stopped, then when they started playing like I know they could play. So it's going to be one of those kind of challenging seasons. But yeah, loving every second of it now. Really enjoying it.
That's good. Yeah, it's really good.
How you found taking to coaching kids? Because it's obviously I do coach a little bit coaching myself, but I could never. I mean, I have kids. I love my kids, but Simon will testify that I don't really have a lot of patience for younger kids.
It doesn't patience with me
with his own son. But but how have you found coaching little kids?
I think there's an expectation. If you can set the expectation at the front with them, and so I got them all to sign a player code of conduct, and I got the parents to sign a parent code of conduct, and it was what I expect, right? People, parents are paying money for the season for to take part in the training and the kit and subs and all the rest of it. Then I want their children to want to play, right? And fundamentally they need to be focused. And if yes, there's a little bit of, there has to be some discipline, right? That's instilled in how they play, because they're going to need that as part of the game anyway. but they make it. I say they make it easy. They don't make it easy. They're 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, right? But they make it fairly easy. And when things click, it's just like, yes, they're getting it, and that's such a rewarding experience at that point. And I've no doubt that over the course of the coming years, we'll have different challenges, right? But we are, I think mini kickers helped. I did the mini kickers for quite a long time, and I think it got to the point where you get used to how you need to speak to the kids, and if you can come down onto their level, it makes it a lot easier. And but also having my own 3, it means that you've kind of already gone through that. You kind of learn already, but it's just of how to engage with them to get the best out of them. But at the same time, I'm not other than some of the online courses that we do as mandatory courses that you have to do as a coach. I'm just a volunteer, right? I'm not a pro coach. I don't do it day in, day out. I don't have time to study. Max and I try and look at like drills and stuff that we can get them to do of a training session, but that's time consuming as well. So we're learning as coaches all the time as well, and I think that's where it gets to really kind of benefit you as well, because you're having to think about how to constantly explain things in different ways so you can get the children to understand what you're trying to get across, right? If you're talking to 12 and 13-year-olds, it's a lot more straightforward. It's like that's your position. You've got at this age, they've got no real conception of positioning. So it's all like going to the ball, going to the ball. So we're trying to instill that, and you have to try and explain that in a variety of different ways to understand it. And I think that's probably what's been the hardest bit, is trying to think about how you explain things that you want, that you would normally, like if I told you need to go and stand over there, you go and stand over there, right? Or if I say go and stand in front of somebody, go and stand on the ball, you know where exactly what you need to do, because you've got that rational part of your brain. The kids don't have that at the moment. So you have to then think about how you're constantly talking to them to then say, this is happening, and this is why I need you to go and do this. Look at what's going on around you, right? And so there's lots of that, but it's great fun. And I think Max won't mind me saying that he reached out, and to me, we talk all the time on WhatsApp or whatever, and he's found it really, really rewarding. He was a bit nervous, I think, coming into it, having not done any coaching before, and since he's joined, I think he's absolutely loving it as well. So yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Great to see the next generation of Farnborough players there. Possibly, you never know. It'd be nice.
Yeah, well, maybe if we can get that pathway going all the way through, right? So
yeah. I mean, whilst we're on the subject of other teams, you should also mention the futsal guys. They won on the weekend. They played there. By the way, just to plug them a little bit, they play on their home games on Saturdays at the Camberley Arena of Places Leisure, I think they call it these days. On the A30. I actually went to one of the games last week, and it was quite good. Yeah, proper pitch side feel. Literally, you're literally on the pitch. They're literally running past you, swearing and cussing, and doing whatever else they're doing. But yeah, it's really good. They had to go down. They play on, but it's usually 3:40 kickoff at Camberley Arena. They won 11-6 yesterday in their game against Bristol Futsal. So it's a really good result. They won 2 and lost 1. Probably the one game I went to, they lost. It's typical. They've not invited me back. So they started the season very well, considering they're a new side. So that's good to see. Good. Happy days. And also the ladies team. I think the first team unfortunately had a postponement against Shanklin away on Sunday, Waterlog pitch.
Yeah, Waterlog pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, the B team played at home, didn't they, against Bowhunt?
Yeah, they had a cup game, which unfortunately they lost.
They played Gosport in the first division, didn't they?
Gosport, they played Gosport, the first division side, same as the first team. So obviously a difficult game for them to have to play, but unfortunately it came out with a loss for them. So
there we are. So if you want to get down to watch any football on Sundays, then futsal 3:40 at Camberley, or you've got the ladies. If it's rainy, you don't fancy the weather, then the lady for the futsal is indoor. But the ladies team are playing every Sunday 2:00 kickoffs. Sometimes at at Fortress Cherrywood, but also on the road sometimes. And Bowhunt School as well for the B team, just down the road, formerly Fernhill School. So yeah, plenty of choice for you if you want to get some see some live action.
Yeah, and that as well. Before we go, Matt, that must be good for you for everyone to see as well. Another footballing side coming into under the Farnborough Football Club umbrella with the futsal team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all like I say, it's all good. It's all anything like that's positive, and I think that's we're seeing like I mentioned earlier, right? We're seeing a variety of different components to the club now, whether it's the women's teams, the pathway for the girls, the futsal team. There's the walking football that's kind of ongoing as well. So there's lots of different initiatives. And that can only make the club stronger, right? And so I think that just again testament to the efforts of the people involved to get these things up and running, the coaches, the players, it's not a small task, like we just talking about coaching and under-8s, right? We're just two teams, and then you've got all the other coaches throughout all the other age ranges as well, and the multiple teams there, and it doesn't happen without volunteers, and I think if just a big shout out if people do want to get involved in coaching, I know you can reach out to look at the Junior Academy website, get in touch, because I think there's always a need to have more coaches involved in the various age ranges. So it could be something that unlocks a passion that you didn't realize was there.
No, exactly, yeah, and the same can be said for players as well. If you're a parent and you've got a young lad or girl that wants to play football, likes to play football, then get in contact with the club. There's always going to be a space somewhere for them to be part of it.
Speaking of which, what's going on with the academy this week, Al? Anything going on? They've got some games coming up. I think they've got 2 games, haven't they?
They've got 2 games, on the 23rd. Is it the 23rd?
Yeah, that's Wednesday night. Wednesday afternoon they play.
Yeah, there's 2 games. Yeah, there's 2 games on Wednesday. I did make note of it, but I forgot.
Put you on the spot there, didn't I? Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, so Wednesday 23rd, 1:30 at Beaconsfield Town. That's in the T2 South. And then I've lost it now. And then the second game is again on Wednesday, but that's at 11 a.m. So the first game I think is away. So the 11 a.m. game is at home, and that's in the T3 Southwest League. So so those two games for the Farnborough Academy.
Ben Murray and his
Ben
team.
Murray and co. Yeah,
good stuff. Cool, good, happy days.
Right, yeah. That leaves us to say thanks, Matt, for coming on tonight. I know it was, as Simon said at the top of the show, it's a last minute sort of addition. But thanks for coming in. It's great chatting to you again. We'll try not to make you more of a stranger this time.
Yeah, I know, it's all good. There's only so much knowledge I have, right? So it's
Look, it won't be the last time you come off the bench and save the day, Matt, will it? You know what I mean?
No, indeed.
So that leaves me to say this episode was sponsored by Tratech Consulting, taking your business visions and turning them into innovative reality. For more information, visit tratechconsulting.co.uk. Did I say that all right?
Getting better.
Yeah, isn't he? He's improved. I knew getting you on would give him a bit of the spark him into life.
Right, Simon, say good night.
See you later. Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Cheers, Matt.
Thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well when you watch. And we will see you all next week with another podcast.